Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ball Hogs PH. Another week of basketball in the books, and we are here to break it all down for you guys. My name is Untitled Chapter. Rufino joining me inside of the Digital 5 studios, and all the way in Las Vegas, you got Mo. What's happening, Mo?
Hey, I'm good, man. It's nice to be here. Interesting week in basketball as we get closer to the end of the season. What are we at, like 11 games left, 12 games left, something like that? So. Yep. Yeah, it's good stuff. What do we got lined up for us?
Let's start out with Mr. Jinno Rufino's topic for our triple threats.
All right. Well, any, I guess, show, podcast, or whatever or articles even on the websites in the past couple of days, you really read one word, and that word is rest. Right, there's the NBA.
Oh, right, yeah, it's the theme of the week.
it's like it's the thing that's going on in the NBA right now, specifically because of what happened with the Warriors and the Spurs, and then the Cavs and the Clippers, with the Stars taking a break, and then recently LeBron James said that I don't think the NBA can do anything about it. At the end of the day, it sucks at times where certain guys have to rest, but certain guys need rest, and he completes it by saying. They're there to compete for a championship, not for a game. At the same time, Adam Silver also said he stressed the importance of players to show up because, especially for these big games, because there's the business, the partners, the NBA's partners, the cable companies, the TV rights, all of these guys. There's too much money at stake for big stars to take a game off due to rest. So I mean, it's a hot topic right now in the NBA, and in my opinion, actually, both Adam Silver and LeBron James are actually correct.
Yes,
they're both correct in this with this issue. And then you have guys like Karl Malone saying that it's called playing, not working. Mm-hmm. So why sit out? James Harden has said that he loves the game so much. Well, I'm paraphrasing that why will he take a day off? Mm-hmm. And stuff like that. And what for me, one of the important or one of the interesting things that actually popped out was what Isaiah Thomas, Chris Webber, Baron Davis were talking about in the players only segment that they had about this topic. Of course, Isaiah Thomas was like, "Oh, you shouldn't take a break, you shouldn't rest, whatever," and I totally get it. But C-Web,
so are you a fan of the rest? I mean, just to...
Well, what part of LeBron did you say was correct? Because you said they're both correct, but you didn't follow up. Like, what are you talking about? What part of Silver's statement is correct? What part of LeBron's statement is correct?
I think both are correct in the sense that the business...
In what?
The business deals that the NBA has with these cable companies and the NBA partners, it's too big for stars to take a break. Mm-hmm. At the same time, players who need to rest... because of the grueling NBA schedule, plus the Team USA, plus all these other things that they do with basketball related, they do need a little bit of a break. And the studies that came out that's saying that that's why I was going to bring up the topic of C-Web and Baron Davis because these two guys, their careers were cut short due to injury.
Yes,
and it's kind of like a double-edged sword in that sense. So I just what's bizarre for me is that, or maybe not so bizarre, that fine I understand why this is a big issue, but at the same time, I don't think it's that big an issue.
The one thing that I read that LeBron said was, why is this a topic now? I mean, Greg Popovich has been doing this for years.
He's done it before.
Why is it now that I take a couple games off and everybody's talking about it? Mo, what do you think?
I think LeBron is absolutely incorrect. I think when it comes to saying playing for the championship, that's incorrect. You don't play for a championship. One team wins a championship per season, and it doesn't mean that the other teams will then just kind of sit back, relax, and watch the other guy do it. Or, we say Warriors, Cavaliers, they're the only ones competing, or maybe you can include the Spurs. So what do the rest of the other teams do? What are the other 27 going to do? Just sit around, do nothing because, they're not going to be competing for a championship. This game is about entertainment value. I think that's what Adam Silver said in the statement. It's entertainment, meaning ticket sales, TV rights. Let me give you an example of how much they're fucking over the fan. What's the biggest concert coming up in the next 2 weeks there in the Philippines?
Coldplay.
How much money does a Coldplay ticket cost?
$22,700, I believe, is a ticket for a VIP.
Okay, let's say Coldplay announces Coldplay's coming. Chris Martin's just not going to sing because he needs rest.
Yeah, well, we have a problem then.
We have a problem. Why? Well, why does he need rest? Oh, well, because, they did 10 concerts in 11 days. And, sorry, you guys spent that kind of money. Coldplay's going to come. Chris Martin's just going to sit it out. We're going to have Arnel Pineda instead. He's going to be the one out there singing live. You understand how much you shortchange the fan base.
Yes.
Now, they're not there, to win awards. They're not there. They're there to watch. They pay to watch. Fans, they tune in. They do that to watch these guys. I don't have a favorite team, right? So I don't have a championship mindset for my team, but I love basketball. I do a basketball show. I follow it religiously every single day. I can name, the 10 guys on each team easily without breaking a sweat because I'm a fan of the game. I don't have an agenda for my team because I don't have a team. The Sonics left, so did my fandom for a team went. That doesn't mean now all of a sudden, I'm less of a fan because I don't value the championship for one team. It doesn't make sense to me. So it's an entertainment value. It's the league, they put premier prices on tickets that involve these players.
Yes.
And when they're not going to show up to the games or they're going to decide to rest, you shortchange these people who don't have as much money as you do. These guys, we talk about how much money, what is it, $24 billion, I think, spent on like freaking salaries alone and expenses and whatnot. Yet the fan who doesn't have as much money, they're the ones shelling out all of this stuff. It's going to hurt their pockets more.
Yes, I completely agree.
It's crazy talk. Now, remember what LeBron said during Christmas time when some of his players went down and they said, oh, your workload's going to have to rise. What did LeBron say? He said, oh, I'll rest when I retire.
Yeah.
But you've already missed 6 games this season. That's just a tad under 10% of the entire year you miss.
Yeah, and the one thing that Adam Silver was actually talking about, which I agree with, is, why are you sitting out on Saturday games? These are nationally televised Saturday games
that's the one
on the road.
That's the one I don't get.
If you're gonna sit them out at home on a Tuesday against freaking Sacramento.
That's what we hear. That's the whole thing. Sit at home, man. Don't sit at all.
Don't sit at all.
If you want to break, don't practice. Don't go to practice.
And that's what Chris Bosh said, right? And that Chris Bosh and C. Webb said the same thing. It's like, you're gonna make me run all these drills and do everything. You're gonna tape up my ankles and do everything while I'm struggling playing games. C. Webb said this. C. Webb should be one of the all-time best power forwards we've ever seen, but his career was cut short because of the injuries that he sustained. Baron Davis as well. He should. Well, I don't know if he's gonna be one of the all-time great guards, but he was supposed to be a upper tier legit superstar, not a borderline superstar.
You can't link those injuries to not resting though, because we can name a bunch of guys. We can name Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, whose careers right now are in have not taken off yet because of injuries. We can bring up guys like Brandon Roy and Grant Hill, who are supposed to be fantastic players that injuries shortened their career. Yao Ming was supposed to be the greatest goddamn big man that we've seen in a really, really long time. Injuries taken him, and it has nothing to do with a lack of rest. It's really poor logic to say, oh, okay, Baron Davis was going to be great. Chris Webber was going to be great, but their injuries cut them short. Well, is it linked to not resting? Because then you can put the successful examples like Karl Malone and Michael Jordan and all of the other greats that didn't take days off, that played every single day, that played for Team USA, that played every playoff game, that won championships and MVPs, and did it while playing all of the games.
Yes.
So those are poor examples because the logic doesn't fit the argument. You can't say, oh, Chris Webber, well, his career got cut short because of injuries that Chris Webber's body couldn't take, and has nothing to do with rest, like it didn't do with Grant Hill or Brandon Roy or any of these other guys.
Yes, and I agree with that because I guess sports science has reached an all-time high right now. And if you really look back, shit, Kobe was playing with the torn Achilles. No, did he blame that he didn't get any rest?
No. He didn't. But it's.
Jordan was playing at 43, something like that. I think it's
Kobe,
a character
the thing
thing.
is, yeah, but that's true too. But you have to remember though, Kobe really didn't practice that much.
Yeah, so maybe that's it. Maybe it's not the games because what the fuck does the fan care about the practice?
They don't.
If you got 4 games in 5 days, skip the practice, go to the game, and at least do what you're supposed to do.
So it depends. Despite of which side you're in, whether you're for resting players or you're not for resting players. That's one of the things that the league addressed during the All-Star weekend by starting the season earlier and putting more days in between the back-to-backs and to try and eliminate as many back-to-backs as possible.
And yet we're seeing even more rest.
But no. But this is going to take effect next season. So I asked actually every player that I spoke to during All-Star Weekend what their thoughts about that is, and not one of them said that they're against it. Not one of them said that they didn't need it. Not one of them said that that they thought it was a bad idea. All of them from Kyrie Irving to LeBron James to Kemba Walker to even a Jokic, who's not, he doesn't really need the rest. He's too young to be able to do so, to be able to take some rest. All of them agreed with what the NBA is trying to do, and hopefully to try and eliminate this problem, because it is a problem. Resting these superstars,
but
and
you can't police it. How are
it's
you
going
going
to
police
be
it? Because
that's
now
difficult.
they're just going to lie. They're
That's
just going to lie.
difficult.
They're going to
say there's
okay,
an injury.
I tweaked the groin. Right.
But
Back stiffness.
the players have been doing this for a long time. Last year in Full Court Report, Mo, I did say this as well. I mean, players have been resting since
Years.
the 80s.
Yeah.
But they just never said they were out sitting, resting. They were just saying that there's flu-like symptoms.
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure how accurate that topic is, because if you interview players from the 80s and you check out the stats and the games played, there are not a lot of rest there, and a lot of them played for pride.
Yeah.
You know. I don't recall guys like Dominique Wilkins taking days off or any of that stuff, and those guys took a beating back then. I'm not 100% sure how accurate this has been going on for a long time.
They've been taking. You talk to the players, they say that they've, a lot of the retired players, they'll tell you that they've taken a day off and just say they have a tweaked ankle or flu-like symptoms, but they don't do it for multiple games in a season. They'll do it for maybe one game, maybe maximum two. Right. So, but now you'll just see it and rest. And it's almost to the sense that I think LeBron and some of these bigger stars in the NBA, they're saying that, hey, our brand is bigger than you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's
maybe that's Adam Silver's fault, because he's a players commissioner. He's very buddy with them. And, I think the problem now is it's getting out of hand. Bad teams are tanking. Good teams are resting. Yeah. So kind of like in, how bad countries are ran. When the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and the middle class is kind of just left there. The middle class of the NBA seems to be kind of just left there. Bad teams, they tank because they want better draft picks, and good teams are just going to rest because, they're aiming for a championship. I want to ask you guys, though, based on that statement real quick before we wrap it up, is a championship the reason why you play in the NBA? In my opinion, it's no. When you're a young player, getting to the NBA is the life goal. That's why you do this, to get to the NBA. I mean, the championships are awards. They're awards at the end, but it doesn't define what the season is about and getting to this level. And again, back to my first statement, it's the entertainment value of it, the sports, it's the money, all of that stuff defines an NBA season, and it defines the league. The award, the championship, really, that's just a little piece of jewelry that says, yes, this is what you did at the end of the year. But how many players get to experience that? Not many. And yet they're out there, they're playing it, they're being celebrated. We can list the name of some of our all-time favorite players that never won that championship, but yet they're celebrated. And that's what I think needs to happen here is you need to understand, whether it be LeBron or something else, that it's not about the championship. It's about the overall experience. The fan experience, the nightly basis experience.
So you're saying
the statistics.
It's a journey, not the destination, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. And for a guy to go, oh, well, if you want me to win championships, I have to take some days off. That's horseshit. That also actually shows me weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. But I agree. It's almost like these players need to realize that they have to play for the love of the game, for the pride, and not for the brand. They've been playing for their brand.
What Adam Silver pointed out, actually, which I think we did not discuss, is that he put it on the governors of the teams.
Yeah.
That it is your responsibility to give your fan base that puts money in your pockets to give them the entertainment value that they are looking for. And if they can't do that, then that's when there's going to be a problem. And that's, I think, where everyone will agree. Yeah. The fans deserve the best out of the money and out of whatever they put out there to see the product that they want.
And they need to stop.
They just deserve what they get, what they're paying for.
Yes.
And again, you're charging more money when you see Cleveland is coming to Los Angeles. You charge more money for that ticket because there's an assumption that LeBron James is going to be there. Now, if he's not going to be there because he's resting, you've now just shortchanged 17,000 people who paid 3 times more for that seat than they would have, say, for a Brooklyn Nets game. And yet, you get the equivalent of a Brooklyn Nets game.
Exactly.
So, who's going to pay them back? Nobody.
Yeah.
And does LeBron get docked for it? Does he miss salary for that rest? He doesn't. And yet, he's going to go on and still continue to collect that salary, whatever that is. I know it's astronomical. And the guy who barely can afford it is shit out of luck.
Exactly. Speaking of which, being shit out of luck, there have been a lot of fights recently. Well, quote unquote fights, scuffles, and whatnot. Mo, this is your topic. What's going on?
There was an interesting. There's actually a good one tonight. I mean, if you, I don't want to use the word good because I don't like fighting, but Ibaka and Lopez went at it tonight. Just a few hours ago, punches were thrown. It looked like some landed, but in slow motion, it didn't. Steph, of all people, got into one the other night as well against the Thunder, which is not Steph-like, but whether he was provoked or not is debatable. Nick Young, D'Angelo Russell, they got into something with Greg Monroe against the Bucks. Luke Walton sounded off regarding that. All of this in the past few days, so we're seeing a little bit more fights, quote unquote.
Chippy?
I guess, right?
Chippy.
Yeah.
Chippy?
The media, one media guy said chippy 3 years ago, and everybody just jumped on that term.
Yeah.
It doesn't really, I think, give it any value, but. Tensions are higher.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's because the end of the season, the end of a long grind, you're kind of tired already, especially when your team's struggling. You just don't want to take as much crap anymore. But I want to ask you guys your take on all the physicality that we've seen recently that has escalated into near brawls or full-on brawls, which is what we had earlier today. Do you miss old school fighting?
I honestly do, man.
I miss old school fighting.
I honestly do. I mean, don't get me wrong. The banana boat thing is cool. It's nice, but every so often you want to see the passion that these guys have and the pride that these guys have that we talked about a little bit earlier.
You think there's less passion and less pride because there are no fights?
No. Well, I see that there's some sort of thing there that the more you are about. Like you're so friendly, buddy with everybody. The more
you kids,
but it goes with the, I guess I won't say they're less competitive because they still are competitive out there, right? But there's something that's missing about the game. It's almost
violence. No, because what you're saying is less chippiness, if that's the word. Well, Russell Westbrook. If you're his teammate, you better not shake the hand of the other guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean they have to fight. It doesn't necessarily mean punches have to be thrown. There's a lot of nastiness still involved. There are a lot of nasty players. Draymond Green's a nasty player. There are a couple guys out there that are marquee names that are nasty, but guess what? They don't have to resort, to fights, to fist fights.
Okay, I'll be honest.
Which we've seen a little bit more, though, this week.
I'll be honest with you. I've never watched a hockey game in my life.
Oh, my goodness.
But when they start punching each other, dude, I'll stop and watch that. I would. I so would watch it.
We do. That's because we're humans, and we love the MMA, and we like boxing, and we all of that nonsense.
I'm not saying it's great for the sport, right? I'm just saying for the entertainment value, for myself. I don't know if it's a right thing or wrong thing to say that. I do enjoy watching this stuff. I do enjoy, dude, as dumb as it was for the Malice at the Palace, I enjoyed watching it.
Oh, I have seen it multiple times.
Dude,
I have revisited it.
Yeah. So I get that why it's bad for the league, why it's bad for certain, the image. But again, I will watch it.
But again, going back to Mo's point, the Malice in the Palace and whatever that was between Greg Monroe and D'Angelo Russell and Nick Young,
right.
That is nowhere near the same thing. I mean, the Charles Oakley fights of the days, the Kobe Bryant and Charlie Ward fight.
Keep your hands down, Kobe. Exactly. What happens to you?
I mean, I miss that. I miss that in your face. But I will hand it to Steph. Nobody expected Steph to go out there and pretend maybe that he was going to stand up for himself. And hope that Draymond Green was right behind him. So I'll give him that. Another thing that I will give...
And he hit the three. He hit the three at the buzzer.
Brandon Ingram has had his best box out in the middle of that fight to try and make sure that Mike Dellavedova was as far away from that as possible. So I'll give him that. And then with the whole Ibaka and Robin Lopez thing, Serge, if you're going to punch Robin Lopez in the head... Make sure it's away from the hair. Yeah, I mean, it harmed him none.
You know what else is? I would think that with the Nick Young, Monroe, and D'Angelo Russell, dude, D'Angelo Russell was the first guy to help out Nick Young.
It's like, oh man, I gotta get back for the tape.
Yo, man, I'm sorry about that. I'm still so pissed off at myself. I got you.
I'm sorry,
but I'm gonna run away.
I personally don't like fighting. The reason why I don't like fist fighting, is because then we start to celebrate it. We celebrate, then we start seeing it in our parks. We start seeing it in our schools, and your young people start to get engaging in fighting. even not young people, just adults in general. You get inspired by that stuff. You then start doing it in your own, community, your own barangay or whatever. And then it, of course, it doesn't, there are not penalties there. There are no suspensions. It can get ugly. It can get bloody. It could get deadly. So as much as possible, you want to limit that stuff. And I think the league punishes them more harshly now. That's why we see less fights.
Yes.
It's not that the players are softer. It's just the penalties and the suspensions are graver. And yet, the money you lose for engaging actually hits you hard. In fact, it benefits the most the instigators, guys like Draymond, guys who you can really push your buttons, and you're not going to retaliate because you're going to lose significant money or you're going to get suspended and you're not going to have a paycheck. So the instigators now they're kind of like the social media keyboard warriors, right? I mean, these are guys who can push, threaten, and nothing's really going to happen because the league punishes you harshly, and I like it. I like that there are less fights. I don't think it means they're less passionate, less competitive, less angry. I think they all are. They're still athletes. They're still type A guys.
Yeah, they are.
It's just they know that there's something in the middle that's going to say, okay, you can't do that.
All right. Well, moving on, let's head on into our third topic right now here in our triple threat. And since we are nearing the start of the playoffs, there are some teams that we will no longer be talking about.
Oh, like both of our teams?
Which is what we're going to head on into. So we're going to talk about what we believe the bottom two
So you're
teams.
saying they're not playing for championships?
Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
Like, really? I thought that's what
I had to wear a
Suns
Suns hat today just to try and give them somewhat of attention. So we're going to talk about the bottom two teams on each conference just to say, okay, what will we remember this season for when it comes to these teams, these four teams? So let's start out with the Western Conference, being that me and Jinno will have pretty much a lot to say right now. With the LA Lakers, Mo, how will we remember the Lakers this season?
How I will remember them. You guys are going to be different, especially Jinno, I think, because he's the Laker fan. But, coming into the season, I thought Luke Walton got a lot of fanfare. I thought it was way overrated before the season started. And I think this season kind of confirmed it for me. I didn't like a lot of his decisions early on, and I don't like a lot of his decisions now. So everybody's on the Luke Walton bandwagon. I don't get it. Is it because that he was able to coach a stud juggernaut team like the Warriors? I could have done that, and they would have fared the same, right? And I think it kind of just bought Luke Walton all this hype. I'm not in on it. I'm happy that I'm right about him. I remember them for maybe, I guess, the D'Angelo talk of bust, starting to gain a little traction. I know he had a 40-point night the other day, and I like him personally. He's a friend of my brother's, so there's a bias there. But, I brought it up on Full Court Report last season. I said, man, is he starting to look like a bust? And yes, it's so early. You usually give guys 3 years, especially young point guards. But in year number 2, he did not take the leap that a lot of people expected. Guys in the organization expected. Kobe expected it. A lot of people. Yeah. I did like, though, how Julius Randle has progressed. I think Nance should get a lot more minutes. I think he could be a really solid contributor on this team. And I think I'll remember them as one of the worst contracts they gave out to two of the players before the season started in Mozgov and Deng. I think those were atrocious.
Who they're resting now.
Yeah, who they're resting. So, I don't know of all of those points which one it is for me, but my favorite is Luke Walton. Super overrated, guys. I don't like his coaching style.
Gino.
See, I don't consider him overrated because I didn't really expect much from the Lakers.
Well, no,
to be completely honest with you, I did not expect them. I didn't think they were going to be like a 20-something win team. I thought they were going to reach close to 30, and they still might. There's okay, fine, maybe not.
Come on, man.
Maybe not. But
there's 12 games left. They got 20.
But I will remember this team, this young nucleus team. The early start that they had when Luke Walton looked like a genius. Not anymore, obviously. But when he looked like a genius at the beginning of the season and right before some of their players fell to injury, because to me that was a glimpse of what this team could look like down the line. Not necessarily, and I think that you have to take the positive with the negative. Most of the season was negative, right? And that's fine because that's exactly what I thought would be before the season started. We both, Aaron and I, bet on who was going to be worse.
Yeah, and here we are. Worst two of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah. And of course, we were voting for our teams to be worse.
Yeah.
Anyway. So that's where I thought the Lakers would be anyway. And I will cling into the hope of the beginning of the first 10, 12 games of the season when you saw glimpses of these guys could be pretty good when their players start to mature more.
All right, I'm happy that despite the record, Gino was not disappointed. That's my takeaway there. Okay, let's move on to the Phoenix Suns. Mo, what will you remember the Suns for? Because for me, it's simply Devin Booker.
Yeah.
That's and Marquise Chris. That's the only thing.
Yeah, those guys are as advertised, man. Booker's as advertised. Chris as advertised. You can see that they're going to be studs, man.
Yeah, Dragon Bender, where the hell did you go? Like, I mean, we could use that pick back.
Well, give him some time.
Yeah.
Give him some time.
It's
Hey,
not
this
done
is a
yet.
dangerous
It's-
team, man.
yeah.
And I think if we're going to talk about the two bottom teams on the conferences, this one is going to be the one that can make the leap from bottom feeder to fringe playoff team quicker than the other ones we're going to discuss. You know, the Wolves obviously are 11th. I know we're not talking about them, but, you know, they could be the big one. You know, the one that jumps from 11 this year to 4 next year, as high as 4, you know. But the Suns won't make that big of a jump, but they can make a very quick recovery. I like Phoenix. I said that about the Magic, who we're going to talk about a little while ago. I said I like the Magic coming into this season. So I don't know if the Suns will make a massive improvement next year, but I like the nucleus. I'm sure you would agree with that.
Oh, yeah,
that
definitely.
You know, they look good for the future.
I love Devin Booker, man. He to me, outside of Cat, he's my favorite player from that draft class.
Nice.
With D'Angelo, with Kristaps, with Okafor. I would go Cat, then Booker, and I'm sticking to that because those are my two favorite players from that draft. And you know, like I really think that this guy is going to be an all-star. Very soon.
Someday?
I would say soon. Like you talk, like when I was talking to him during the All-Star weekend, he is so confident. I didn't know he was this confident. Right? It was the first time I ever spoke to him, and he has this confidence about him that he's like, wow, this guy's gonna be, you know. And I think there's tools there. He's not there yet, and he looks like he's about 15 years old.
Yeah.
But the tools are there. The confidence is there. The mind is there. He just needs to be a little bit more consistent, and I think he could be at least a fringe all-star candidate.
All right, let's move on to the other conference, the Eastern Conference, the Brooklyn Nets.
Who?
The Brooklyn
What?
Nets.
Is there
The only thing that we're gonna remember from this is that we thought that the Brooklyn thing was gonna be a thing, and it wasn't. And they got to give their pick to Boston. That's the only thing I'm gonna remember.
What do you mean? What do you mean? The Brooklyn thing is.
Remember that when they
like
signed
Brooke Lopez and
Jeremy Lin, when they were like, "Oh, this is it, Brooklyn is back." They got Jeremy Lin.
I wouldn't say. I
Wait
don't
a minute.
think
said that,
anybody
yeah.
ever said that they will be back.
Well, they
But-
won't be in last place at 14 wins at 70 games in the season. What are you gonna remember, Mo?
Well, first of all, let me defend Brooke Lopez and Jeremy Lin a little bit. I mean, I think Jeremy Lin is still relevant. I thought he wouldn't be relevant anymore, and you know what?
He played good.
He's had such an awful season in terms of injuries, but when he was on the court, he has played really good.
Yeah.
I really like Brooke Lopez. I always have. He's one of my favorite players, so that's why I'm always going to say kind of nice things about him. But at the same time, you know, he's turned into a really good stretch 5 player. He came into the season averaging 0.1 3-pointers per game for his career, and he's now nearly at 2 3-pointers per game this season. He has hit 114 3-pointers this year after hitting 0 2 years ago, right? He also still has 107 blocks, you know? So he's slow. He's not the dominant big man, but he's evolved to the new game, and he's probably, I mean, gosh, top 3 best 3-point shooting big man. He just doesn't get the recognition because he plays for Brooklyn. So I'm going to take a positive out of the Nets this season, even though they don't have a pick. They have an abysmal winning percentage, 18% or something like that. I love Brooke Lopez, love his game, always have. He's not a franchise player, but the way he can evolve from just big man to now legitimate 3-point threat, I really do like that about his game.
Jinno.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I really enjoy watching Jeremy Lin play. I don't know if it's because of the bias to some of the Asian guys out there. I like Jeremy Lin.
like JC?
I like Brooke Lopez as people.
Okay.
You know, as people, they're really genuinely good people. But the thing that I'll remember the most about the Brooklyn Nets this year is that I remember watching a game on TV. I'm like, is that a Tanduay logo?
Yes.
I'm like, what is going on? Why do I see Tanduay rum in a Brooklyn Nets game in the Barclays Center? I was like, oh my God, it is Tanduay.
Yeah.
It's the international rum that they distribute
Yeah.
in the States. And that's really the only thing that's going to stick to my head. It's like, wow, as crappy as this team is, I don't know what in the world they were thinking, but I guess it got my attention.
Hey, it worked.
Like, I was probably the one person watching it in the Philippines.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there's not that many people watching Brooklyn games.
No.
So we move on to Orlando. What is our takeaway with Orlando? For me, This is a team that could have been something, and good God, do they suck. Man, what a waste. They made the right moves. I thought they made the right moves, but they just couldn't get it together.
You think the Oladipo trade was the right move?
Piling up of the bigs?
Yeah, I thought that they had the right coach. They had
The coach was a little bit... I thought he'd do better.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that they had some pieces to be better than 26-45, to be worse than Philadelphia. At least that. Out of all the four teams.
No, I'm with you. I mean, again, I said I thought the Magic were going to be better as well. I thought the Biyombo signing was good. Again, I didn't think the trade was a good idea. But you know what? At least you didn't get crap in return. You got something in Ibaka. Now, all of a sudden, he's gone. So that made it kind of worse. But at least in the beginning of the season, while I didn't like the move, I was okay with it. And then I thought Aaron Gordon would contribute more.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen to my expectations. So it's been a disappointing season for the Magic. And what I thought was a team that would recover, or at least before the season started, would recover to become a playoff team maybe in 2 years or 3 years. I think they've taken a step back and might not sniff a playoff berth for a much longer time. Well, maybe 5 years. I don't know. It's a long to look at that distance, but they don't look like they're headed the right direction.
The thing that stood out for me for this team is actually the play of Evan Fournier.
Yeah.
He hasn't been healthy the past in like the latter half of the season, but when he was healthy, he was really turning heads in the NBA. I don't know if he earned the 17 million that they're going to be paying him for this season, but the fact that he took that step to become the go-to guy on the offensive end of this team, I didn't think he had it in him. I thought he was always going to be a good complementary player, and maybe that's what he still is. He was just forced to have a season like he has this year and be the number one option of the team. But I didn't think he had it in him. I remember watching when the France games, and even then I was like, okay, he's good, he's all right, but I didn't think he was that guy.
Yeah.
Right.
I still don't think he is. I don't think he's the number one option.
He's not.
He might lead the team in scoring.
He shouldn't be the number one option.
Vucevic is their double guy. He's 14.
Yeah.
He's 15 and 10. With a block and a steal a game. So he's the go-to guy. I think Fournier is just a manifestation of the kind of game that the modern NBA plays, which is a lot of three-pointers. But he doesn't shoot from a high percentage. His supporting stats aren't very good. I actually don't think he's as an effective player as you may give him credit for. I think even Elfrid Payton has had a better year than he has, to be honest. I'm not sold that he's the top guy on that team.
Well, I think that his improvement was mainly because he came here and went to Palawan.
He went backpacking around the Philippines.
That's really what does it.
But I'm not saying he's the number one option. And he's the face of the franchise. I'm just saying offensively, he's the guy that's he's scoring the most points.
Yeah, simple as that.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. Next week, we will be breaking down even more teams as more teams will be going fishing in the NBA. Right now, though, let's shift it on over to our Gilas Pilipinas topic here for your triple threat. And it is a simple question with the pool already and the camp already coming to a close. Who would you have as your captain for Gilas Pilipinas? Would it be the extremely much more vocal Calvin Abueva or the extremely much more talented Jayson Castro?
Quiet.
Gentlemen, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, before this lineup was put together, Coach Chot said that he's going to bank on Jayson.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that was his plan to replace basically Jimmy Alapag, which I don't know if he can even do to replace Jimmy. But at the same time, I think everybody knew that Jayson is not exactly the most vocal guy out there. I mean, you saw it in Talk and Text. When Talk and Text was kind of, I guess, not living up to what the lineup that they had, a lot of it was because of they lost the vocal leader that Jimmy was. Now, not taking nothing against Jayson Castro because he is the best point guard in Asia, right? Let's give him that title because he won the all FIBA team during the tournaments, all FIBA Asia teams, I should say, and so. But the fact remains, when we asked Carlo Pamintuan, who guested here last week, about who was the guy who kind of stood out, the kind of voice that the people would listen to, and it was Calvin.
Yeah.
Right. So it really, that's why these two names are coming, are being tossed around on who is going to be the captain, and I would vote for a co-captain between them, because you kind of need the guy. I know it's a little bit of a cop-out answer, but it's true. That's why in Team USA, in the Dream Team in 1991 Barcelona Olympics, it was Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
Yeah.
Right. So you need somebody who is going to be, who has the ear or the voice, who will listen to Coach Chot no matter what. And then you need that, which is Jayson. You need that guy also who will be vocal and collectively gather the team together, which is Calvin.
Yeah.
Calvin is almost like the Pingris. Calvin is almost the Pingris type player,
like DeMarcus Cousins
and
type?
Jayson is kind of like the Jimmy.
Yeah.
Isn't he also like the DeMarcus Cousins type, though?
He is.
The not just outspoken, but easily angered,
Oh, yeah, he
volatile.
is.
And
Which
if
is-
you want, if that's your captain, that's a dangerous
No,
thing, man.
but which is why you need Jayson there, right?
So then give it to Jayson.
You need, but I would give it to both.
So, yeah, but
because Jayson won't.
I just think because they're two contrasting guys. Like co-captains in Magic and Larry, they're not that far off in terms of what their personalities are. This one is too stark of a difference. I think Calvin,
they're polar opposites.
Yeah, and that might not be a good thing. Hey, listen, for every example that Calvin brings guys together, I'm sure you're going to find one also for Jayson Castro. I know that Gilas, at least in the past, was a rowdy group. A guy, you're talking about your FIBA Asia Gilas team, right? And I remember hearing a story. Well, we know that Castro likes silence, right? Before the games, he's a silent guy, right? And being the best player on the team, and as you said, best point guard in Asia, you kind of work around that. When your best guy is showing an example, you tend to follow it. So rowdy guys in the past like Pingris, I know Gary David wasn't there, but he traveled with the team or something, right? These are usually rowdy guys, and they're older guys than Jayson. Yet, out of respect to Jayson, I remember hearing a story like during a bus trip on the way to the games, the buses are quiet. The environment in the ride is very quiet because that's how Castro likes it. Mm-hmm. And that example of concentration, focus, and all of that, I think will do better than Calvin's Boogie Cousins style of outspokenness. You get guys like you get guys like Pingris who are really kind of rowdy dudes, right? Being quiet when around Castro because they're respecting the game, the game the guy has. Even though he might not be vocal, he shows it with his play on the court, and all of a sudden, that's a leader. Kawhi Leonard's the same way. That's his team. He's a very quiet guy. They're one of the better teams in the NBA. And not to make too many comparisons between Gilas and NBA players, but it might be easier for me to comprehend it that way. Now, I could be wrong, but that's my take on it.
No, for me, it's very simple. You treat it the same way that you did Gilas before. You just make Calvin Ping.
Yeah, you make Calvin Ping.
That's
what I'm saying.
Yeah, Ping was not a team captain. He was
the guy.
He was the vocal leader.
Yeah.
You can be the vocal leader by all means. Bring the team together, throw an elbow here and there when necessary. Bring that energy up when they bring you onto the court. You're not a team captain. Well, let's keep it as the best player on the court that understands the system as much as possible.
Yeah.
And run the team.
Basically, the guy who came out of retirement from the national team because of the coach.
Exactly.
Which is Jayson.
Simple.
But you still need that voice.
Yes.
You still need a voice.
Do you? And I want to ask this again. I'm going to use NBA references. I'm sorry. It's just I'm not so versed in it as you guys are. But if you have a team that's well ran, right? And in a certain style, and then you put a Draymond in. Now, Draymond works for the Warriors because they're winning. But you see, when they get into these kind of streaks of maybe not so dominant, they have problems, right? Remember, there are articles about the conflict between guys like Kerr and Draymond that doesn't get highlighted because they're out there and winning. But I remember, was it earlier this season that who came out with it on ESPN or something like that had Draymond in real conflict with some of the guys on that team. Mm-hmm. Now, again, you can hide it when things are going well, but if things don't go well for Gilas, are you sure you want a co-captain in Calvin who's that volatile?
Exactly. So just don't give him a title. Don't give him a title. You don't have to put a team captain or a co-team captain to his name. If he's willing to do it without the team captain position, then even better.
And remember, who's your coach? Chot is your coach, a very vocal, aggressive coach. a guy that'll call you out.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you have that kind of personality, and then you give Calvin a little bit of power, if you want to call what a co-captainship would be called. You might have some fireworks there that you don't want.
Exactly. So what about you guys? Let us know. Use the hashtag BallHogsPH. We're going to cut to a break, but when we return, it's your opportunity to take us on in the world of debate. We'll be back. Welcome back, everybody, to Ball Hogs PH. It's now time for one-on-one, where you guys get to call in and have a conversation with us. Jinno, Aaron, Mo here for Ball Hogs. And joining us on the show right now was a fourth member of a fantasy league that all of us were a part. And he took it very seriously. That
he did.
We have Bobby Anna on the phone, and he had a piece of paper in his wallet that he wrote down everyone's roster so that he could text us nonstop.
That's true, man. That's
trying to get trades done. This was unbelievable.
There were cell phones already back then.
Yes.
And he still had a piece of paper.
Yeah, he needed to do it. Bobby Ann, welcome to Ball Hogs PH, man.
Wow, it took you so long for you guys to call me, man. Ball Hogs,
Dude.
huh? Yeah.
Dude,
So, yeah, man. You forgot to say that I won the league. So whatever you guys say, it doesn't matter, bro. I own the three of you. Okay, so let's just move on to fantasy.
What?
I own more.
I won that league like 4 times. What are you talking about?
What's
You
that?
won once. I've won that league multiple times. We're
Yeah,
still
but I
playing
wasn't
it.
anymore
Same
after
guys.
the first league. I think I joined another the next year.
No, you
And then
played
after
a
that, I
couple
left.
years.
Nah. So,
Well, either way, Gabby,
Like, you played with us like 3 times. You won
won
once. The
He won
winning
once.
percentage there is 33%. Nothing to be proud about, but let's move on.
Yeah. So, Bobby.
Hey, I was still the inaugural winner of the first Mo League, man.
Well-
and some of the guys there haven't paid me till today, like Casey Montero, Luis Alandi, and his brother. What's the younger brother's name of Montero?
See,
Ay, hindi.
Casey and Troy. Yeah, Cody.
Yeah.
Cody. That's right.
Cody.
Yeah.
Oh, yun,
yeah.
the
Cody's
guy in
older
the
one.
States.
Yeah.
The guy still owes me money till today.
Colby.
Well, you know what, Bobby? This is your chance. We have no proof of that. We can't really go into the record books to find that. Now is your opportunity to really own one of us here today. You have a
On
debate
record.
topic.
On
Yeah,
record.
this is on record. This is recorded. I mean,
Okay.
this is admissible in court. What
Go.
What is your debate topic today?
Okay, so my debate topic is what is the best first round matchup in the NBA if it ended today, if the playoffs started today.
Okay.
So I went with. Do I say who I went
Yeah,
with?
but don't defend
Yeah,
it yet.
yeah.
Just say
Okay,
what
I
it
won't
is.
defend it yet. So it's obviously yung 3-6 West, which is Houston versus Oklahoma. So home court ng Houston. So
Alright.
for me, yun lang talaga pina-exciting. I was gonna make a subtopic na aside from the Houston OKC kasi alam ko matatalo kayo sa akin. But anyway, you can try.
Alright.
So good luck. So
Okay.
I pick Houston versus OKC.
Mr.
Well,
Rufino.
if you want us to beat you already, that's not the 3-6 matchup. It's Houston and the Grizzlies. But for debate's sake,
No.
let's
I
just
just
go
checked
ahead.
now. Memphis went down.
Did
They're
they?
number
Memphis
7 now.
Oh, they lost today.
Yeah, they lost today.
They lost today. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I'll give it
So
to you. Then.
as
All
of
right.
as of the time we are recording this.
Yes.
So there's how many games are going on right now?
No, I think there's only one more game.
Which
One
is
more game.
which is
irrelevant.
Irrelevant. Okay.
Okay.
So as of today, as of the end of the
Oh.
games today, you're saying that the most
Interesting.
the most
yeah.
interesting first round matchup will be the Rockets versus OKC.
Okay, so
Wait, I'm looking at the
Okay, all right.
I'm looking at the other.
Mo, what do you
matchups right
think?
now.
You know, I feel really bad because every week I get picked on by our callers to debate them.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm not even prepared or I already know I'm going to lose. Today's the debate I want so bad for this season. Like, I want a piece of Bobby so much I can't stand it.
Go ahead, dude.
But I have to agree with him.
come
It
on,
is
Mo!
Houston and the Thunder. No, it really is. And I feel bad because, Bobby, can't you think of another topic? Maybe you could do 2 topics here because
Yeah.
I so badly wanted because Bobby's a good guy to debate, man. He's super
yeah.
passionate. He knows
yeah.
his stuff. He's good with the vernacular.
All right,
and,
okay,
you know,
okay.
He's fun, but
Off the
I'm
top-
sorry, I'm with him.
Off
I'm
the
with him
top of
on
your
this
head,
one.
Bobby. Okay, Bobby.
Biglang nag-concede si Mo, alam niya, talo siya sa
No, listen. I want you so much shit. I'm gonna change my. You know what? I disagree. I disagree.
Ikaw idol ko sa tatlong yan, pare. Wala akong respeto dyan kay Jinno at kay Aaron. Wala yan, pare.
Yeah. No, he's right. He's right. It is Houston
Hey,
Thunder.
do you-
man.
do you wanna
Anyone
change
else
it?
who says otherwise is crazy.
If you want to change it, would you want to say maybe like who is the best 2-way player in the league? Bobby, would you say anyone?
No.
Later
Let's
na tayo doon. Later na
let's stick
tayo.
to the
Pero
topic.
Can
Yeah,
I
let's stick
speak
to the topic.
Tagalog or do I have to speak in
pwede
English?
naman.
No,
Tagalog.
kahit ano.
Kahit
English,
ano.
Tagalog doesn't matter. But
Okay,
anyway,
okay.
so Gino, what do you got? Gino, Aaron, what do you got?
Well, I mean, if you're talking just basketball, right? I mean, yeah, I think Houston and Oklahoma City will be the most interesting in terms of the matchup.
Yeah.
If you're talking about
What do you mean in terms of just basketball?
No,
If you're talking about the matchup, what are you talking
If you're
about,
talking
Steve?
about the side stories, you're looking at the Miami Heat and Cleveland.
Really? The top 2 MVP guys? Not a side story
but-
enough for you?
No. But the fact that LeBron James returning to South Beach is also intriguing. I'm not saying it's better than the Rockets and the OKC one, but it's interesting to see that side as well if you're looking beyond the basketball sense, which other people do. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
But I do like
right.
Westbrook going up against Harden. That matchup for
So
me
what's
is-
your answer? Your answer is Cleveland, Miami, or are you agreeing with Bobby here?
Hindi mag-agree sa akin yan, mataas pride niyan.
You know what? I'm gonna put Gino on the spot, and I'm gonna say I agree with Bobby. So that means that you gotta fight him.
Oo. Okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
Ano, tapusin ko na ba to?
Oh, tapusin mo na.
Oh, God.
Okay.
God, I hate having to see Bobby
So
win again.
aside from
Damn it.
obviously Harden versus Westbrook, it's the first round, so you're gonna be determining the MVP. Kung sino manalo sa series na yan, iyan ang MVP ng liga. At doon pa lang Gino Rufino, talo na yung mga side story mo na Cleveland, Miami, LeBron galing Miami. Walang kwenta yan, pare. We're talking about who's gonna win the NBA MVP. Kung sino manalo sa series na yan, yun ang MVP. You cannot give it to Harden if Westbrook advances. You cannot give it to Westbrook if Harden advances. Meron
Okay,
pa akong
that's your best
bala.
argument?
Gusto mo
May
pa?
may
That's it.
bala ka
Okay.
pa. Keep on firing.
All
Go.
right.
Yeah, that's it.
Meron pa.
That's
Sige,
it?
sige.
Go.
Okay,
Let's hear
so
it all.
obviously, race for the MVP, no? The other point there is, si Harden, galing saan? Anong team?
Okay, see.
Yeah.
OKC. Oh, di ba? So now, si Westbrook has his own team, tama? So now it's sino sa atin kasi among the three, KD, Westbrook and Harden, sinong pinakawalan sa kanilang tatlo? Oh, pinakawalan ng OKC si Harden.
Yes.
'Di ba? They kept Westbrook and KD. So in other words, Harden has something to prove na okay, ako may team ngayon, ikaw may team ngayon, sino mas magaling sa atin?
All right.
Ah, 'di ba?
So,
And just to
another one.
side note dyan,
Oh.
si KD, he left, but now he has his own team, pero medyo he doesn't count dahil sumama siya sa Golden State na may 3-4 na All-Star. Di ba? Steph, Clay, Draymond, tas may finals MVP ka pa na Iguodala. Kaya,
Yeah, not just All-Stars, all NBA
all
guys.
NBA.
Yeah.
di ba? So now, yan yung side story dyan. For
Okay.
me, that's why it's the most intriguing, the most important series for everybody's gonna be watching that, even from Adam Silver, lahat ng game papanoorin niya, and all these owners and whoever's gonna vote for it. Dahil sino manalo dyan, yun yung MVP.
All
And
right.
also, in the hierarchy of, kunyari, in the end, si Bill Simmons, tayo gumawa ng greatest players. If Harden has a better career than Westbrook, he will have to be ahead of Harden and KD. In the end of it all, parang, diba, it's Russell, Michael Jordan, blah, 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 blah. Sino yung tatlong yun? Si Harden, Westbrook, KD, yun yung magdedetermine sinong hierarchy in the all-time greatest.
All right, so that
All right, Gino, you're
that
up.
leaves it. There's some possible points here for Gino.
Well, I mean, he said that it's going to be a battle of the MVPs. Sure, you have two MVP, and but they won't. Bob, is that your phone ringing? Are you trying to distract me?
Yeah, it's I'm busy, man. I'm just taking time out for you guys.
But what Bob said is that the winner of that series will determine who the MVP is. Actually, remember back during the Rockets going up against the Spurs back in the day, Olajuwon versus Robinson, they awarded the MVP before the series was over, and then Olajuwon and then Olajuwon ate up Robinson to finish off the Spurs,
Tama.
the higher seeded Spurs. That is because David Robinson won the MVP, but Olajuwon said, "Nope, I'm still the best player in the
sinubog
NBA."
siya.
Yeah.
Tama.
So that right there with his point on who wins that series will be the MVP, I think is wrong.
Oh,
right?
no, but
it's
now,
a regular
Jeans, remember
season.
they give the MVP after the second round.
No, but I'm just saying the votes have been already casted as the series
Yes.
is going on, right? So they've already they'll announce it later on, but it's already
ganun
been.
ba yun?
It changes year by year. But I'm just
Look
proving that
at
point.
Gino serving him. Serve it.
No, but
Serve
we're
it.
not,
Love it.
hindi confirmed yun. Gino's just thinking na ganun nga ang sitwasyon. But we gotta go with the
But
facts.
there's a precedent already.
Let's hear though.
There's a precedent already that it's happened that way.
But my point is, let's hear why Cleveland and Miami is
And then
the
here's
Oh,
the Cleveland Cavaliers and Miami Heat. We all have heard the stories, the drama between Pat Riley and LeBron James, right? I mean, the exit. First of all, LeBron James going to Miami was a big story. LeBron James going back to Cleveland was an even bigger story. Winning the title for the Cavs and them being number one. LeBron James resting all these games. Well, he's rested 6 games already this year. He might rest even more as the playoffs approaches. Miami turns it on in January. Right? They turn it on. They're one of the winningest teams in 2017. Yes.
Wow.
So the fact that they're charging, they're making this late surge to make it to the postseason when everybody and their mother said that they should tank. The Heat said, "Fuck that. We're going for the postseason. We're going to make the playoffs. We are going to challenge whoever is in there." Oh, pwede. So when the Miami Heat make the postseason, right?
You're a good debater, and rattle.
Do you bleed it
When
out?
Miami Heat make the postseason to go up against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and LeBron James will have to face this team who they don't necessarily match up great against. You're gonna have Kyrie Irving guarding Goran Dragic. That's gonna be a little bit of a
ano ba
problem.
head-to-head nila?
You're gonna have
Hold
a
on.
problem. Wait,
Ano ba
the
head-to-head
Heat
nila?
have beaten the Cavs.
Ano?
The Heat have beaten the Cavs already
I
this
know
year.
nga, pero
The
head-to-head this year.
the Cavs don't have an answer for Hassan Whiteside. And the fact that
No, they
LeBron
don't,
James will have to
tama.
be dealing with a Miami Heat organization, including Pat Riley, who really wants to beat him. Everybody there
kasi
wants to
left.
beat LeBron James. I think that it not only is it interesting in the basketball sense, because I think it's going to be a better matchup than some people give it. Some people give it, right? I still say the
Yeah,
Cavs are
I
going to be
understand
heavy
that.
favorites, but it's not like they're going to walk away with a sweep. Who knows? Maybe the Heat can steal
I
one
never
game.
said sweep, man.
So the fact that there's a lot of nice side stories about LeBron James, the best player in the NBA today, going back to the team that he helped win back-to-back titles for, in a little bit of animosity between the team president of his former team president, to me that's intriguing.
Okay, for those that wanted to know, they are 1-1 against each other with one more game happening on April.
I thought
April
they
10.
were 2-1. Isn't it 2-1 Miami? They won back to back. They won the home and home. Didn't they? They lost in Cleveland. They won in Cleveland. Won in Miami. So
Miami's-
it's
So it's
Miami's
2-1
winning this.
2-1 for
Minus
Miami.
2-1.
Yeah, 2-1 for Miami.
Yeah, they won the home and home one, or what is
No,
it?
home and away.
Home and home. Yeah, the home and no, the home and home. The one like they do the back to back in each
Yeah.
other's stadiums. But yeah, nevertheless, I believe
Yeah.
it's 2-1 Miami.
Okay, so Mo, with all those points being said, what do you think? Who wins this debate? Is it Bobby?
shoot, I was agreeing with Bobby's initial stand. I thought his argument was poor though. In saying that the whole MVP is going to be decided by who wins this series. The MVP is going to be decided by whether Russell Westbrook can still continue his triple-double run. If he ends the season with a triple-double, he wins the MVP hands down. I really don't think it's going to fall for Harden unless he doesn't get to the triple-double status. I do like the angle of Gino saying LeBron going back to Miami where he finally has to play against the Heat. Because if you recall, the games,
sat
part of
out.
the games that LeBron sits out are
Yep.
games that he comes back to Miami. He plays against the Heat, but he plays against the Heat when they're playing in Cleveland, right? So I think last season he took a
ganun
game
ba?
off in
He doesn't
Miami.
play
Yeah,
against the Heat in
no,
Miami?
he doesn't play. Yeah, he doesn't play against the Heat in Miami. So there's
interesting.
that angle, but I still don't think that angle's strong enough to overcome the two MVP caliber guys because the story has been Harden and Westbrook all year from like the very
Tama.
first month of the season to where we are now.
Tama.
Harden himself is knocking on the door of a triple-double. He's 29, 8, and 11, right? So I think that this is going to be a very tightly contested MVP race. I like the OKC former teammate angle, all of that stuff. I really do believe Bob is right. Houston, Thunder, the best matchup come round number 1 because you have the two top guys where everyone, the opinion on who wins MVP is up for grabs. I just think Westbrook's going to win it, but shit, I'm not confident
Yeah,
in
I
that.
think Westbrook should win it.
I think he should win it, though.
As much as this man has been talking a whole lot of crap about all three of us on the show.
No, not Mo. Not Mo.
No, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to agree with him as well. It's Bobby Ann that comes out on top because it's the correct choice, and Jinno was right there though. He brought some really good points with the whole Miami being the hottest team in the league going up against.
And I agree. They're the hottest. Yeah, they're
going up
well,
against a Cleveland team that matches up really, really questionable against.
The fact that you have Harden going up against Russell Westbrook, that alone
is fun.
That alone is fun,
dude. The only way I think Cleveland, Miami, obviously if Bosch was playing, and then maybe if Wade didn't go to Chicago, then hell yeah, of course.
If Wade was still there, it changes.
Right. Then absolutely changes everything. But come on, this Harden Westbrook narrative all year, which has been consistent, has just been too good.
Yeah.
It's too good. You can't. It's that.
So who did you guys pick? The three of you. Who picked Harden? Who picked Westbrook for MVP?
Oh, we haven't gotten into that yet.
Yeah,
we haven't done our.
It kind of. Well, except for Mo, who's always been Westbrook.
We talked about it in I think it was 2 episodes ago. What do these guys need to happen for them to win the MVP? And I said absolutely triple-double for Westbrook. He has to have that. If he does not have it, if he goes 9.9 on assists, he loses it outright. Right? And then it was true. It doesn't matter. Kung 9.9 siya, you gotta give it to James.
Round it up.
You gotta give it to James. But here's what I think. Here's what I think locks it. I think what locks it for the Thunder is the number 5 seed. If they can get to the 5th seed and he's got the triple-double, I think it's not a close contest anymore. You have to give it to Russell. If he gets to the number 4 seed, which is highly unlikely, but it's 2.5 games out, then oh my God, I mean, man, it would be one of those hands down, not unanimous like Steph, but certainly hands down if he can get to that number 4 seed. And guess what? The Jazz have lost 3 in a row. So it's possible that the Thunder can possibly catch them, So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, that's for another debate for another show. But thank you, Bobby, and you dropped by, and yet again you win. Thank you for calling, buddy. It's always fun having you.
Anyway, so the Jazz now are 43 wins, Clippers 42, Oklahoma 40. So kaya nga.
Kaya.
It's possible,
dude. Okay,
right?
I'm telling you, when that trade they pulled, the Cameron Payne trade. They got better. I know they started losing games after that, but it just took them a little bit longer to get used to those 2 new guys. But when they get things going, they're going to be much better.
All right. Well, Bobby.
Wait, hold on.
Thanks, Bobby.
I'm not done. So. No. First of all, if I won, I don't consider it a win kasi nga. You ask 100% of people, then 90 will say talaga Houston OKC. So medyo dehado talaga si Jinno. So I don't count it as a win, man. But hey, man,
that's my brother talking.
Bobby,
victory.
Bobby, thank you for calling, man.
My older brother.
Hey, so call me soon, man. Let's talk more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
thanks, man.
Bye-bye. Thanks, brother.
Right, bye.
Appreciate it. Bobby Yan, the great Bobby Yan.
The great and self-proclaimed winner of our league and owning all of our assets. Okay. All right, let's move on into our next caller, and we have Benedict Yuson here. Benedict, welcome to the show.
Yes, hi.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Benedict, what is your debate topic today?
Yes, my topic is, will LaVar Ball's comments benefit his sons?
Okay, and your take is yes or no?
No.
Okay, don't explain yet.
Yeah.
Jinno.
Well, I mean, 2.2 points.
We should change the question though. Of course, benefit. No one's going to benefit.
Nobody's going to benefit.
Maybe is it going to hurt?
Oh yeah. How about that?
Okay.
Probably be a better
Benedict,
topic.
is that okay?
Can we ask the caller again? Because benefit. I mean, why would anybody benefit from that? But if we ask you the question, is LaVar Ball's comments hurting his son's, future NBA career, or all 3 of them, all 3 of their careers?
Yeah.
Is it hurting? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
I think
okay,
it does.
gotcha.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Before you give your answer.
I think it's a better debate topic.
Okay. Jinno.
I think it's insignificant.
You think it's insignificant?
I think it's insignificant.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. All right. We'll take that as an answer. Mo.
That's an interesting answer. Damn
Yeah.
it, that's a good answer. Is it hurting his? I'm gonna say yes. I'll say yes.
So
I'll agree with the caller.
You agree with the caller. I want to hear this insignificant. And Gino's on a roll today, so I'm gonna say yes too. Okay. So Benedict, It's all yours, buddy. What floor is yours?
Yes. I do think that he is hurting his sons because he's putting a lot of pressure. With regards to what he is saying, his comments, he's putting a lot of pressure on his sons. Um, and he's putting a lot of high expectations, which we're not sure if it might be met or not. So I do think it's hurting them. Um, I do think his sons has not proven anything yet, at least on the NBA level. Um, and what he's saying is more of a publicity. It's more for himself
Uh-oh.
rather than for his sons at the moment. Um, and then I do think he has the right to say whatever he wants to say, but it would be more beneficial to his sons by the time that they have proven something, at least on the NBA level.
All right.
Sure.
Sure. Great point. Great point. But, okay. Jinno.
Well,
Insignificant.
it's insignificant because, look, Lonzo, at least. Let's leave the guys who are not in college yet out of the picture, right? Because they've already made their commitments, but they're a little bit young. So the one that really is in question is the guy who's playing in UCLA right now,
Yes.
who's been having a pretty good year, who's been having a pretty good tournament, right? The UCLA has been winning. Their next
Doing
game
better than Crichton.
who's
Kentucky.
they're going up against Kentucky next. So you're telling me because of their father, who just is a stage dad, who wants to give his sons some confidence and like, hey son, I believe in you. That's basically what he's doing, right? I'm not saying it's going to benefit them. I'm not saying it's going to be detrimental to their careers, because it's not going to have an effect. Because anybody who has a top 3 pick in the NBA this coming draft will be crazy if they do not pick this kid. I can see that why you would take some of the other guys, maybe 2 guys, maybe actually no, just one. That's it. If you take him ahead of Ball in this year's draft, that's not a problem with me. But if you don't take Ball with the 2nd pick or maybe the 3rd pick, at the worst case scenario, the 3rd pick, you don't take basketball seriously and you don't want your team to win. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of guards in your team already. You need to take the best talent available there, and that is going to be him. And so whatever the father says about his son, about, hey, a $1 billion true contract with any of the 3 giant sneaker or sporting apparels out there, it doesn't matter what he says. Who cares what this old man thinks? Who cares? For the fact that he said he's better than Michael Jordan, nobody should even think that he's being serious. Nobody. And I think whatever he says from now on, the fact that he said that he's gonna take Michael Jordan to school, I think I'm paraphrasing that again.
Yeah.
That alone remains whatever future things he says about his sons and whatever. It's just moot. It's not true. It's basically there for entertainment value, and that's it.
All right. Mo, what do you think?
I agree with our caller and his points that it sets up, because we're not talking about draft choices. Yes, we know Lonzo is going to get chosen. I think the argument of saying if you don't take him with the top 3 pick, it's crazy. That's not part of the argument. Of course you're going to take him. It's now what happens to Lonzo Ball once he becomes an NBA player. Does what his father has said, will it affect him negatively? Like if he's going to represent his son for shoe deals, and as you know that here in our industry, when you have a manager that's a little volatile, even if you're great, it can affect you. Is he the Annabelle Rama of NBA agents? We don't know, right? Maybe. But here's where I think it might affect him. I think it makes him more of a target.
Yes.
And you don't want to give teams extra incentive and inspiration to humiliate a rookie. If he ends up on a bad team, it could be a really rough year for Lonzo Ball. We get it. 6'6", 190 point guard. Of course he's going to be fine. He's going to be a fine NBA player. But when you have problems with LeBron, which he does. Today, LeBron spoke out against LaVar Ball, said, don't talk about my family. Well, I have a problem with you now.
Yes.
He said, remember, because LaVar brought up LeBron's kids, right? So LeBron said, this is father to the father. you and I have a problem. Now, you think that when LeBron sees Lonzo Ball next season, as a rookie running around with a shit team that he's a part of, unless he gets it on the Celtics, LeBron's gonna take it to him, right?
Yeah.
So he's got problems with LeBron. He's got problems with Charles Barkley, which is another bad enemy to have. You know, you got problems with Steph Curry, who can light you up in any given day. So when you get when these superstars who are established superstars get inspired to take you out, that's not a good thing. And guess who you're going to blame for that? Your father, who name dropped these guys.
Yeah.
So I think initially, and I'll finish here. Sorry. I think initially it's not beneficial for him. It's going to hurt him initially, but the talent is there for him to surpass that in 2 or 3 or 4 years, where the father will be moot, as Jinno said. But that first year, boy, I think all of those things that Dad said is going to be a target. It makes Lonzo a target for humiliation from the superstars and the veterans.
All right, so you agree with Benedict, Mo?
Yes, I do.
No, he agreed beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, like, no. In terms of who wins the debate. You're going. You're going Benedict.
With the debate, I'm going to go Benedict. Honestly, I still think that it's not good for the kid.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with Benedict also. I do understand Gino's point though. No, it's not gonna hurt his draft stock whatsoever. He's still gonna get his sneaker deal. It's not gonna be $1 billion for the 3 kids, but they will get there. He will get an elbow on the first time that he plays any of those teams.
But
it'll
after that, fine. It will be a welcome to the NBA moment. As like, hey, I'm going to give you an elbow. Boom.
But the problem is that if his dad will represent him the same way like Mike Conley's dad represents him, then he might have a problem.
I don't think anybody can take him seriously anymore.
Exactly.
I don't think anybody can take him what he says seriously, because he says some really stupid, crazy things.
Yeah, that's why that LaVar Ball facts on Twitter, that was some funny shit.
Yeah, actually,
well, Benedict,
that is pretty
thank
funny.
you for calling,
Good
man.
job, Benedict.
You're walking away
Thanks,
with
man. Thanks for
Gilas
calling.
merchandise. Thanks for calling, bud.
All right, thanks for having me.
Come back anytime. That'll wrap up the show, guys. Oh, man, we filled that up pretty quick. Well, we're out of here.
Yeah, no. Again, every week I'm enjoying more and more of the show. It's fun to do it with you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for being you guys.
Oh, man, it's always fun, and I can honestly say our callers are getting a lot better. Like, they are bringing out some really good debates.
Yeah.
And, well, we'll see you guys next week, as we wish you all the best of luck if you guys are in your fantasy league semifinals and whatnot. Well, good luck to you guys. We'll be back then. For Gino Rufino, Mo Twister, I'm Aaron Tide. Peace.
Bye, guys.
I got my ass whooped today.